Hello, everybody. I'm here today with Brandon Hudson. He's owner of several businesses to include the Goddard School in Richmond, Simple Interventions, and several Marco's Pizza establishments. Hi, Brandon. Welcome to this week's Business Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate you taking some time to talk with us today. If you don't mind, we'll just get right into the questions.
Okay, sounds good.
So, Brandon, tell me a little bit about your businesses and how long you've been doing the entrepreneurial thing, because you own quite a few businesses.
So I've been an entrepreneur since the age of about 23 years old. So I worked a little bit in the corporate, probably about 3-4 years out of college, and then I started my first business early on, and that was in the mental health field, which I'm still involved in today by way of Simple Intervention, which merged with Second Chance, so now it's called Second Chances. And I'm still involved in mental health. And then also I own 6 Marco's Pizza along with a business partner of mine. And we're continuously expanding, have about 7 more to do here in the next year and a half. Wow. And also the business with my wife, the Goddard School, which is another franchise, which that's Regency Mall in Richmond, Virginia, and that should be open late this year, early next year.
Excellent. So quite a few franchises. Tell me a little bit about why you've chosen franchises.
Well, to me, franchise is business in a box, right? So it doesn't eliminate the work that has to be done or the finances, but it kind of mitigates the risk a little bit because it's a proven method. And so for us, it's about aligning ourselves with brands that we believe in, brands that are continuously growing, and also folks that actually have, I guess, like great customer service or believe in the franchisee. So with franchising, it's a partnership, but there's that oversight, and they kind of give you all the bullet points and the step by steps to be successful. It's up to you to go out and execute and do the work so we just find it highly profitable, and it helps us out significantly going into franchising.
Yeah, absolutely. ActionCOACH is a franchise, right? We're in over 80 countries, and we find that franchises, they give you the roadmap for success. That you still have to do the work, like you said, but you have the roadmap, and you're able to start earning that revenue much quicker than if you were to try to start something on your own and develop everything yourself, and so
absolutely.
And it's a great way to leverage, which I'm sure you're seeing that with the Marco's Pizza. You've got 6 outlets and you're going to open more, so you're able to leverage all that. So that is pretty awesome, and I love to hear it when people are understand how franchising works, because some people just don't get it. They don't understand the value of it. So let's talk about the Goddard School here, and who do you serve on that? I mean, really, who's your best customer? Who's your target audience for that?
Well, really, is parents. The Goddard School starts from 6 weeks and go up to 5 years old, and so we handle all of the early childhood education and it is kind of a premier childcare. So it's not just a daycare; it's more of a premier facility, and it's pretty much parents. I mean, we don't kind of box it in saying income levels or just parents that's looking for a great start for their children's future. Typically send them to the Goddard because they kind of learn through play. All of me and my wife's kids went through the Goddard School, and it was pretty much a lived experience, with our kids, and we've seen how that catapulted them into their elementary education, and how they were so prepared for school. And so it was a brand that we not only seen from the outside, but we lived it, and we believe.
Yeah. Is that why you decided you wanted to get into owning one, is because of that experience?
Absolutely, absolutely. Me and my wife, the businesses that we get involved with is businesses that we typically either use, we have a lived experience, and that we have significant belief in that brand or product.
Yeah, excellent. So, with quite a few businesses, especially the pizza, Marco's Pizza and all those units, how did COVID, affect you, and what are a couple actions that you took because of the pandemic?
So I will say this: with pizza, the adverse happened. Our
Mhm.
sales went through the roof. So it was one of the uh, businesses that was set up for a pandemic, right? We do delivery, carry out. And so there were a lot of things that we were doing for the community. But when that happened, we kind of stepped up, right? You had all of your teachers, um, we had community workers, firemen, and things like that that we donated a lot of pizzas to. But during the pandemic, we seen that a lot of restaurants unfortunately shut down. A lot of sit down eateries and things like that closed, and so people still needed food, and people still needed to. Pizza is one of those kind of like I call it bring the family together, right?
Right.
It's a uh, Friday night lights type of thing. And so what we do is we bring all of our staff together, and not only we figured out what we need to do for the community during the pandemic, and we absolutely did that.
Yeah. So you're, already doing delivery, right? So
Yeah.
some restaurants weren't doing delivery. They had to pivot. They had to figure out how to box their stuff, how to change their systems that they had in place, and kind of reinvent. But you guys already had that set up. But was there any challenge with the volume that you had to start doing?
Yeah. Well, the challenge was with staffing, because we're still in a pandemic, right? And so a lot of people, we had to take extra measures to make sure we were being safe, mask and gloves. And in the beginning, nobody really knew, do we stand next to this person? Do we, handle all the gloves with boxes, deliver, what I mean? So we had to take a certain protocols to learn about the pandemic and how we could best serve our customers. And again, to go back to the original, that's why franchising is somewhat effective, because you had corporate folk giving us direction on what we need to do as a franchise to move forward. So we did have staffing issues because some people just wasn't comfortable working in the an environment. But then I think that was probably the bigger one of our issues. The volume did increase, but our team is just excellent, and we were able to kind of handle it. Handle the volume and get to the consumers and make sure that we didn't skip a beat.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, and we saw that too. We saw there were certain industries that actually really boomed through the pandemic, and others that just died from it. But so pick any one of the businesses that you have. What has been the biggest issue you had to overcome?
Well, I guess I'll pivot to mental health. The biggest issue, I think, in my professional career is it's always things that you cannot control, right? We like to measure 3 times and cut once, train the staff, pretty much customer service, making sure the customer's happy. But it's certain things that you can't control, right? And I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago in Virginia, the MCOs started to pull networks from providers. And so, it's just kind of like doctor's office. We're with several different credentialed and contracted with several different networks. And for whatever reason, they were kind of tightening theirs. And so they were just pulling networks, which caused me as a business owner kind of try to pivot to figure out, okay, what can we do to still service our clients? Can we partner with somebody else who's in network to be able to, it just caused us to start thinking outside the box, right? You couldn't function as normal. We lost a significant amount of revenue doing that. But then by us kind of pulling the team together, and I as a business owner, I take more of a democratic approach. I don't have all the answers. I don't know everything. We kind of sit together as a team and figure out, okay, what's the best thing that we need to do given these circumstances? And we pulled together as a team and ended up increasing the revenue instead of it going the ladder. But that was one of the most challenging moments, when we're credentialed with 5 or 6 different MCOs and they started pulling those MCOs. We just had to figure out how we needed to pivot as an organization and the things that we need to do and who we need to partner with to be able to come out of this thing on the other side better than before.
Yeah, I love what you said about, pulling the team together and the fact that you don't know everything. We say this thing, these 2 words, I know, which is the worst things you can say as a business owner. Because when you say that, you're shutting off any opportunity, right, to learn. And being able to give your employees that freedom to be, take initiative, right, and give what their thoughts are and give them that latitude, right, underwrite those honest mistakes so that they take initiative, because that's how you build future leaders. So I love the fact that you said that. So during this process, what have you learned about yourself during this journey?
It's just, I guess, resolve. In business, there's risk, there's ebbs and flows, there's highs and lows. And to kind of like stay consistent, stick to your principles. And as long as you're doing what you need to do, you can't get too high, you can't get too low. And the best example I could use is kind of like when we're on a airplane, right? When there's turbulence, the first thing I do, I used to peek my head and I look at the flight attendants. If they're not getting nervous, right, I'm not getting nervous. Or before, when the pilot's cabin was open, you kind of take a look at them and, you're looking for signs to see if they're nervous. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing in leadership, right? You have to, there's a composure that you have to keep. And not necessarily that things are not going to go wrong, is how you handle it when it goes wrong. Can you pull the team together? Can you keep your composure? And so that's the biggest thing I learned, that you have to be that calming force to let the team know that, all right, we're going to get through this. It's mm-hmm. not if something happened, it's when it happens, how are we going to respond to adversity? And so, in business, I think that's the biggest thing I've learned so far.
Yeah, and so much of adversity through that pandemic that everybody had to learn. So that's right. Being able to lead your team is super important. So what's the future look like, and what do you see as the main challenges moving forward?
For me, and my wife asks me this all the time, like, when are you going to stop? I told her never. Or they asked me, which is my favorite project, or which is my favorite business. I always say the next one, right? It's for me, it's just keep pushing forward, opening up opportunities up, and also being able to give back, specifically as a African-American entrepreneur and a young one at that. I understand that I want to be able to give or show to the younger generation or lower income what's possible, right? And so, we do speaking engagements. I think it's important to kind of, as you have success in business and as you learn new things, to reach back and to teach the generation that's coming behind you, so that they're set up for success, or they know what's possible. A lot of the times, children, particularly in the African American community, they just don't know what's possible, and a lot of times they just see athletes or maybe movie stars as a form of success, and they don't know that entrepreneurship is an avenue. And so, just doing the things like trying to join the urban leagues and junior achievement, and just different programs and things where we can reach back and provide knowledge and resources to let kids know that entrepreneurship is a avenue for them. And so ultimately, that and philanthropy. So just continue to grow. We want to continue to add as many Marcos locations as they allow us. We want a successful school. Right now we're managing the mental health businesses, and we just want all of them to be extremely successful, and to be able to leave something back to our children, and not only in assets but knowledge as well.
Yeah, I mean, building a legacy is amazing. That's what you're doing. And you mentioned the fact that want to show the younger generation, because when you think about it, school, whether it's grade school, high school, even college, all it does is teach you how to get a job.
Yeah,
nothing out there teaching you how to be an entrepreneur. We actually have a nonprofit, our ActionCOACH Foundation, where we have a young entrepreneur smart start system, which is a free program for kids between 12 and 22 to get amazing business training, the stuff that we go through as business coaches, and learn how to become an entrepreneur.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, because our founder, Brad Sugars, he started like you, really young, 21 years old. And entrepreneurship is a avenue that nobody talks about really in school, and they really should. It's really a shame. So I love what you're saying and what you're doing, because it's linked so much with what we do. So what advice would you give anyone thinking about going into business?
For me, it's the biggest thing is just take the first step. A lot of us overthink it, right? I have people that they just plan and plan, spend so many years planning, you know what I mean? Get out there, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And so, that's what I always say. You got to put one foot in front of the other, and, not necessarily saying figure it out as you go. That's how I did. But, you got to get in the game. No matter what that is, you have to be able to get in the game. And then, I always talk about continuously to educate yourself. Don't feel like you know everything, because you never do. And you can learn from anybody, right? And so continuously to learn from other people, continuously network, build new relationships. That's important, because that provides access. And, also, like I said before, it's, once you get to where you get to, or even before then, take the knowledge and turn back and help somebody else come back. That's coming up the rear. I think that's extremely important, to be able to reach back and to give back, and through knowledge or teaching, or even financial resources, whatever the case may be. But I think that's extremely important.
Yeah, I mean, having that abundant mindset, knowing that there's more to go around, and you only get what you give, right? So
exactly.
So that's pretty awesome. So, hey, last question: any offers that you'd like to include in the newsletter?
Offers as far as what? Like, you mean?
Oh, I mean, anything, if you have any specials going on with any of your, with your pizza or
Oh, okay.
anything with
Well,
the Goddard School opening, anything that you'd like to,
okay.
have.
Well, the Goddard School is filling up pretty fast.
Mhm.
Like I said, we're opening in late winter with construction. We haven't nailed down a timeline. The closer it gets, the better we'll be able to nail that down.
Mhm.
But we're going to be open late winter, early next year, late this year, and so we're enrolling now, and the
Okay.
school is filling up. And so if you want, please visit GoddardSchool.com and Goddard School Richmond, and you could contact us there. As far as the Marco's, please come out and give it a try. It's the best pizza chain, and that's why I invested in it. Our family was
Yeah.
eating it. I said, I got to be a part of this. And we
Yeah,
eat it every
that's pretty
weekend.
awesome.
Yeah.
So you're in Richmond. I'm in Hampton Roads area in Smithfield, Virginia. Is there any Marcos down here in the Newport News, Hampton area?
Yeah. Actually, there's quite a few. I have a great friends that's down there that's building out that market as well. Me and my partner, Damien, we're building out Richmond and Roanoke and Lynchburg, Virginia.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon, that kind of wraps up the interview. Really nice job. I appreciate all your input and knowledge that you talked about today. Just a great interview. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.